Just waiting to get onto this Wi-Fi. Oh. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Just had to test the sound real fast. Just give me a second to connect to the Wi-Fi, and then we'll go. Damn, that's picking up real good, yo, because I'm not even on it. That's the first time I think it's picked up like that. This is the mics we're using with the when we on the road, right? All right, Akim, y'all gotta keep that down. If y'all not doing no work or whatever, let's go ahead and be seated so we can begin class. Let me know when people start coming into the class, Cutters. You going live from which channel? Ours, right? At headquarters. Wow. There we go. I like to do that. We should have bought some of the ornaments up here too. I'm just kind of talking out loud. All right, anybody got any questions for class today? No questions? If y'all got any questions online, please let's get the questions as they come in online. And if anybody's outside or y'all see the brothers in the lobby, if y'all could just make them aware class has started.
There was a question.
Go ahead, up.
Revelations, I believe 4 and 3, where it said the Most High looked as the Sardis and the Jasper. What was that talking about? Our brother was asking.
Okay, let's go ahead and get Revelations 4. And if somebody look up the Sardis and Jasper stones for me, so we can get that too. Maybe I could grab it faster. Sardis, right? Din. Sardin. The water. I thought it was Sardis too. That's what it says in the verse. Yeah, pull up the verse for me, please, Baba Kashar. Then that way we know for sure. Anybody else got any questions besides Kapash? Go ahead, out.
Yeah, the law of the heathen children, does it still apply today?
When you say law of the heathen children, you talking about the children begotten of them shall not enter into the congregation. All laws still apply, right? So when you say a law applies today, it all applies. So what does that mean? Say a brother comes in and he's a child of a, go ahead.
If you have a child
with a heathen, if you have a child with a heathen woman, by right, every law that's in the scriptures would have to be applied, right? The what? Sardis, it is in Revelations 2? Yep. Yeah. No. It is Sardis. You know what? It might be Sardis and right. All right. So it is Sardis. In Revelation, it's interesting. It might be two different stones because Revelations 21 and 20 says Sardis. Revelations 4 and 3 does say sardine.
Like you said, give you the definition for both words.
Go ahead.
Sardine and Sardis.
You said it. You said you have the definition. Go ahead, read them.
It gives Revelations 4 and 3. It says Sardius and Hebrew Odhem, and it says Sardion from a root meaning red, a gem of a blood red color.
And then the jasper is a green. Is like I think jasper is green if I'm not mistaken in color. So Kapash, when do you have the? If does anybody have Revelations 4 and 3? Let's start at verse 2. And to make it plain, Kapash, is a jasper and a sardine stone are just precious gems. That's why it says, and he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. These are valuable, precious stones. He's just describing the magnificence of the Most High. Right. It's not saying that he is a stone or anything like that. It's just describing his look or his makeup. That's all it's describing. All right. So now your question with the heathens, right? So repeat your question again, and give me the scripture you're referencing. Are you referencing Deuteronomy 23? Okay, so let's get Deuteronomy 23, and then just ask your question. If anybody else got any questions, of course, just raise your hand, and then we'll get them in, and then Kadisa any questions online, of course. So I believe you're referencing Deuteronomy 23 and 8. Well, start at 7, and then we read 7 and 8 together.
Deuteronomy 23, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite,
Right.
for he is thy brother.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian,
Mm-hmm.
because thou was a stranger in his land.
Right. Keep going.
Verse 8. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their third generation.
So you know what that means. If you have a child with an Edomite or an Egyptian woman, the third generation of that lineage can then come into the congregation. Because what happens, let's say for the sake of argument, that son you have, or it can only be a son, that son you have follows in your footsteps and then marries an Edomite woman again and has a kid. It would still be pushed to another 3 generations, right? But now, let's say if your son doesn't follow in your footsteps and marries an Israelite, that first child doesn't come into the congregation. The second generation doesn't come in. It's the third generation that's allowed to come in. You understand? So now you're wondering if that's still in effect. Every law is in effect. There's no law that's not in effect. So now do you have a follow-up question? Because usually people do. You sure?
I told him to bring his children.
Okay, so what do you think? You told him what?
That it was okay for him to bring his children, but I forgot about the
No,
law.
it is okay for him to bring his children.
But they're with a heathen.
Right. So why am I saying it's okay for him to bring his children? This is why I said, because like, if you say you ain't got no question, but then you don't want to let that child come in, then you're not understanding why they can come in even though we're reading that law, right? So now I'll give you a different law. Let's say an adultery, if you ever committed adultery, what's supposed to happen to you? Why you ain't put to death?
Grace.
You getting a second chance, right? Most people that interracially marry believe what? What do they believe?
Like if I may, sir, that race that he's marrying is superior to his.
Simpler than that. Even if you take the superiority, the envy and stuff like that, simpler than that. Why do people intermarry today?
Love is love. They don't think nothing's wrong with it.
What they're taught. There's nobody teaching that it's like when even if a blackity black person say only deal with black, there's no law that backs up what they just said. So it just comes off as a preference. It comes off as we was enslaved by them, XYZ. What's the difference when we say you can't sleep with another nation?
It's backed up by law.
It's backed up by law. So when you do something ignorant of the law, that's not held against you. It's when you sin willfully in the law. So the law of adultery stands. So we should kill you. But because of the grace and mercy of the Most High, it's why you live, and it's why those children can come in. It's why those of us that ate pork have a second chance. Those that worship other idols, we all get a second chance. Now, you as an Israelite, you marry a heathen, that child can't come in. Because you did it in the law. You understand? Everybody understand what I'm saying here? No sweat. You can give me the next question. Anybody else got a question in the room? Nobody got questions? So everybody know the Bible. All right, let's find out. Any questions online? Oh, Katslaki, go ahead.
Brother wants to break down Ezekiel 11 and 19.
Let's get Ezekiel 11 and 19. Start at 16, Joanna. You just got to speak up a little bit.
Ezekiel 11 and 16. Therefore say, thus saith the Lord God, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come.
This is a scripture. Anybody asks you to show you where ISUPK is at in the scripture, this is your scripture. Ezekiel 11 and 16. That little sanctuary is what we call the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. All right? And so it says, and what's important about it said, the Lord cast us off in the far country among the heathen, but he will be unto us as a sanctuary. So as everybody else is scrambling and dying, molesting kids, murdering, robbing, whatever they're doing, and here is where your safety is at. Everybody understand so far? Keep going.
Verse 17. Therefore say, thus saith the Lord God, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where you have been scattered.
So now there'll come a time where after he becomes that sanctuary, he's then going to gather us from the people and assemble us out of those countries. Amos 9 and 9 is another scripture you could use for this when it says, I'll sift the house of Israel from among the nations. Keep going.
And I will give you the land of Israel.
And that day is coming. Y'all see what's happening in the Middle East. That day is coming. I ain't never seen, I thought it was a fake video when I seen them Taliban on that plane.
Right.
I still was watching that. I watched it like 5 times before I believed it, Kapaj. Like they was literally fighting to get on a plane that they know they gonna die on. That looked like what's that movie with Brad Pitt when they was trying to World War Z? That looked like World War Z when they was trying to actually climb on the plane. So we seeing it like the scriptures is definitely coming to life right now. Y'all seeing it happen.
Right.
Keep going.
Verse 18. And they shall come thither, and they shall take away all the detestable things thereof, and all the abominations thereof from thence.
When does that take place, to take away the detestable things thereof and the abominations? When does that take place? Anybody know? It takes place now. Like you getting rid of all of the detestable and abominable things, all the sorcery and witchcraft and evil that y'all follow, and you getting rid of that right now. Otherwise, you couldn't be gathered. Could not be gathered if you're still serving this country or still serving the so-called white man or serving the Arabs or whoever it is you're serving. You cannot be a part of that.
That's right.
Now let's read verse 19 because this is where his question is at.
Verse 19. And I will give them one heart, and I will put a new spirit within you, and I will take the stony heart out of their flesh. I will give them an heart of flesh.
So who could break this down after everything that we just read? Sure.
If I may, so after taking the detestable things and abominations from us, we'll have a heart made of flesh because we'll keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We won't be doing the things that displease the Most High. So that transform our hearts made of stone to where we would do the things that the Lord hates to now one of flesh. And one, you know what I'm saying, where we will keep the commandments.
Right, and what would you say about the word heart? You're correct, but what would you say about the word heart?
Would be you're changing of your mind.
Right, you always want to make sure you say that because people think the heart is right here. This ain't it don't do nothing but pump blood through your body. This is every action that you do takes place here. So it's saying, like you said clear, I would give them one heart, and I would put a new Salaki, this gentleman behind me. Salaki. Hey, shalom, so y'all some show. Like Kawak, I'm gonna have Kawak come and get you. So you're in the lobby, Kawak. General Hyman is in the lobby. Oh, Khan. So you just come down to the lobby in the front, and Kawak will grab you, sir. You have some show with that. So as you can see, it clearly saying I would give them, even when it says I would put a new spirit within you. When did that process start? Your bun?
That will be now, sir.
That would be with Christ, right? Christ. You was gonna say something?
Yeah, if I can add to for the stony heart and then put in a heart of flesh with it. Could you break it down like, okay, they would give, the Lord will restore our humanity to us. We don't have humanity like in regards to each other.
When you go into that stony heart, like you nailing the, I don't know if I would say humanity, I would like, because humanity, you start teaching that on the street, they think we are the world, we are the children. You know, I would start thinking black on black crime. Hispanic on Hispanic crime, black on Hispanic crime, the rape and the murder. Y'all see with this polite cat what he doing to 14-year-old girls. That's a stony ass heart. Those are the examples that you want to use to show that now when you get a renewed spirit, which Christ gave us in Matthew the 5th chapter and all throughout, now we live by the spirit of the law and not a stony heart. All right? Any questions in the room? Any more questions online? Come on.
I want a breakdown on Revelations 11:3. Who are the two witnesses?
Who are the two witnesses in Revelations 11:3? Bun?
Would be at that time the two kingdoms, northern and southern kingdom, so-called Negroes and so-called Latinos.
Where's what? What about? He ain't get down. He's coming down, Kawak. No sweat. It's like a the bun.
That's it. At the time, it was the northern and southern kingdom. Today, people call so-called Negroes and Latinos. The precepts in Zechariah, we talked about the olive branch.
Can we get the precept in Zechariah? What he said is correct, and it's still the southern kingdom and northern kingdom today too, Bun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still the same. Because we still prophesying together. Y'all see it every Thursday across the line radio. It's like Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom. Right, God is on. It's like in Zechariah, so that scripture, if they want to know who the two witnesses are, that's the Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom prophesying on this planet up until this day. That's what that answer is. Abun, if you can get that precept in Zechariah for me.
It's Zechariah 4 and 12.
Yeah, read it.
Zechariah chapter 4 verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I answered again and said unto him, what be these two olive branches which through the two golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 13. And he answered me and said, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Verse 14. Then said he, these are the two anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth.
So that those two anointed ones is Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom that prophesy all throughout. Kapash?
I just got another question on a different scripture.
Come. Yeah.
Revelations 16 and 19, where it says, and the great city was divided into three parts. What does that mean, the three parts?
I want to say it's talking about the government, but I'll let General Hyman break that one down.
Okay.
That's right. Any other questions in the room? Okay, does any more questions online? Mm-hmm.
If every law is still in effect, why don't Israelites have fences around the roof of their houses pursuant to Deuteronomy 22 and 8?
Fences around, like a real fence around the house?
This is the question.
A bun?
Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 8. When thou buildest a new house, then thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon that house, if any man fall from thence.
Where does it say put a fence? It said battlement for that. I'm assuming they
It's
said
a
it.
balcony.
Anybody want in the back? I can't see.
Battlement.
Assalamu alaikum wa upon ya. Barak. Somebody should have said that out there.
A battlement is what you put up around your house when you're building it.
You want to come up here, sir?
No, I'm
Come.
ready to go.
Yes, sir.
The general should be down here shortly.
Come, sir.
The battlement is the scaffolding that you see around the house.
Right.
When you building it, so that if someone's working on the thing, they have a safe way to not fall down and kill themselves while
Right.
they building your house.
So y'all know what this is talking about, right?
Come.
What, can somebody explain like what that's talking about? What General Q just said, Bun?
I was going to say the same. He was the same thing.
Yeah.
General Cabal said that is when you're building a house.
Yeah, when you
have-
building a house, put some safety measures in place so that the dude don't fall on the ground.
This is OSHA.
I mean, come on, it's in the Bible. Even the Bible will tell you, put something up there so they don't fall to the ground and die. General Q.
Anybody can find the one where it said not to build a house over 3 stories or something like that. Is that in this section?
I'm gonna have to
I
see.
never find it or what have you, but I thought I had read that one time where
Cause
how
I've
he
been looking
saw-
for it myself.
He like to dwell all the way up here in the heavens, you know.
Right, right.
He went to Obadiah.
Yeah, that's why he be in them high sky rises and stuff like that. He wouldn't be in the mountains, so Salakia. That's a retarded question. We not.
Will no longer build him any more towers.
Y'all Bashim Yal Shah, break a thumb, clap it up. Come on, last week y'all smelling for Bashim Yal Shah. What a captain.
Hey, I am the boss.
Get it on, I'll get my guafian.
Questions, Revelation 16. So.
I'll take it. You got your questions, let's have them now. And also I'll get to our topics, all right? Questions, ooh, forgot my whip. It's a rough one. It's upstairs, I might have it sent for. All right, let's go ahead. First question. Do we have one already, you said? Please.
Revelation 16 and 19. And the great city was divided into 3 parts. What's the 3 parts and what does it mean?
All right, you better give me some context, all right? All right, do me a favor, grab that thing for me, all right? ahead.
Revelations.
I think somebody's grabbing it. It might be all right. Go double check. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Okay, Revelation 16 and
You didn't forget this. I appreciate it. Go ahead.
You want to transfer glasses?
Oh, please, if you don't mind. I appreciate it if you don't mind.
verse 17.
Go ahead.
And the 7th angel poured out his vial into the air,
Mm-hmm.
and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, "It is done."
Mm-hmm.
Verse 18. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake and so great. And the great city was divided into 3 parts.
See, check the gas station. No, go. They'll give it to me straight through. Go ahead.
And the great city was divided in 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon came in remembrance before God to give unto her the cup of the wine.
This still is not jogging my memory, y'all. Give me 1 second. Your question is about the 3 cities. Where are we?
Verse 19. And the great city was divided
We have Revelations.
16 and 19. Revelation 16.
Bear with me. Revelation 16 and 19. Bear with me. Skip me up to 1 second. You had 19, right?
16 and 19.
This one, I'm only about 75% sure. Give me a second to jog my memory or ask Commander General Yohana, all right?
Come on, God.
It's coming to me. Bear with me. Where's that precept when it says it calls this place Sodom?
Revelations 11 and 8. Sir.
Revelations 11 and 8? Bear with me 1 second, Cartazar.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Say it one more time, Cartazar. 11 and 8?
Revelations 11 and 8, sir.
Okay. Okay, I think I have it. Go back through and read it, please.
So I recall the breakdown being the three branches of government of the red, white, and blue, and the infighting that they would have, and the precept being
That's-
second
yeah.
Ezra's 12 with the 3 heads. and
Let me
how
hit the 3-headed eagle, right?
Oh, God.
Let me see the 3-headed eagle real fast, all right? That might help. You jog my memory a little more right there. I'll take the next question. Get it on deck, all right? I appreciate it. The world. You got it? Go ahead.
Second Esdras 11. Did you want 11 and 3 where it describes the heads, or the angel explains something?
Yeah, give me a little bit of that.
Okay, yes, sir. Second Esdras chapter 11 and verse 1. Then saw I a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle, which had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. And I saw, and behold, she spread her wings over all the earth.
I got it now.
And all
I appreciate it. Give him a hand. You just jogged my memory. Go out. Go ahead, Kapaz. Read it one more time. Read about you. Your question was in 19, right? Then read 17.
Revelation 16 and 17. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air. And
Does everyone know what that is? The seventh angel poured out his vial into the air. All of these are precepts about Judgment Day. Everyone watched the news recently, and you saw the Judgment Day came to the Afghanistani people. They had their Judgment Day. That's what happened. They fought and in caves, ate whatever a goat had to offer for 20 years, and they starved and suffered. And then one day, they won. And then now they're in the street dancing with AK-47s. And now all of the people who believed that they were going to lose are now getting their heads chopped off right now in Afghanistan and being beheaded right now in Afghanistan. They were so terrified they're hanging on the goddamn plane because they knew that if they did not make it out of there, they were going to have their heads chopped off that night.
so like, because they were saying that they wasn't gonna get nobody. They was basically lying.
Oh, forget about it. Listen, they were told that everyone would come out of there safely. And all of their allies would be rescued and that no one would be harmed. And yet and still, they were hanging on the wheel of the plane, knowing that if they did not get on that plane, they would be beheaded before sundown that same night. They had Judgment Day in Afghanistan. Here's what's important to realize. Judgment Day is coming for all of us. And a far greater Judgment Day than that small one that they had in Afghanistan. I'm talking about judgment over the face of the entire globe. And there are so many disobedient people, brother, that never believed that our king would return. They didn't believe us. They thought we were some crazy cult because we were willing to suffer for something that they thought was nothing, and that's the word of God.
Right.
And because of that, there's a Judgment Day coming that is going to be far worse than what's happening right now in Afghanistan. And what you're reading about it in Revelations is that day. That vial is the plagues, that COVID-19 virus, terrorism. Plane loads of people from Afghanistan are coming to America. I wonder what's going to happen in about 3 years.
Right.
What percentage of the people on that plane do you think are terrorists? I give it, 25%?
Right.
Now they're begging for them to get on their plane. Oh, rescue them. That's your terrorists.
Right.
15 to 25% of those men on that plane are going to be blowing up buildings in New York and Chicago and everywhere else you can find. And then everyone will be saying, why did we let them come over here? Right now they're wondering why they left them. And it's wrong to leave them. In 2 years they'll be saying, why in the hell did you even bring them?
Right.
Because they're going to be committing acts of terrorism. That's what's in the vial.
That's right.
You understand? Terrorism, disease, plague, famine. That's in the vial. And he's pouring it out on this earth. Keep going.
God. And there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, it is done.
It is done. That's it. Judgment Day. Do you know how many years righteous men have waited on this day? Lot waited on this day, man.
Right.
Sitting in Sodom and Gomorrah. So many righteous men, all of the prophets, man, all of the disciples. Peter talked about this day and wanted this day to hurry up. And now finally you and I are going to get to see it come closer. We're seeing prophecies that those men never got to see, man.
Right.
Our faith is renewed in a way that those men didn't get. They didn't get to see the same plagues that we now see with our own eyes. They prophesied those plagues and died before they came. And you and I are here to watch the Bible unfold itself right in front of you. Keep going.
Verse 18, and there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth.
Listen, everybody understands that. That's what's happening right now. That's the destruction. It's the Bible is trying to just make sure you know that all of these things come from the angels of God.
Right.
This great destruction, the hell and the torment and the thunder and the hurricane and the forest fires and the COVID-19 virus and terrorism, all of it comes from the angel of God who was ordered to pour it out on this earth. Keep going.
So mighty an earthquake and so great.
Keep going.
Verse 19, and the great city was divided into 3 parts.
What's the 3 parts? The 3 parts are what this great city formed by the unification of 3 parts. There's red, white, and blue on the flag in America, and there's red, white, and blue for virtually on every European flag. I mean, so it's very few of them that don't have red, white, and blue. Some of them changed it from red and white and blue to something else as of maybe 40 years ago when the Soviet Union fell. Right. But red, white, and blue is the unification of 3 branches of government. What are those branches?
Executive, judicial, and legislative.
Give him a hand. The executive, the judicial, and the legislative. Where does that come from? That comes from Rome, from the Roman Republic. A long time ago, there was a place called Rome, and America patterns itself after Rome. Every European country is patterning itself after Rome, all right? Rome had the religious leaders who were the judges. And then Rome had the emperor. Emperor, right? Caesar, right. The emperor, who was the military leader of the country. And then Rome had the Senate, and the Senate policed the people. You understand? And their color was blue. Blue for the Senate because blue represents the law. Red for the executive branch because they kill. And the Romans wore red cloaks. And white was for the religious leaders who were like in between so they could judge between the 2 sides. And they would come together on a good day. Now Rome fell. Rome fell when what happened? When those 3 branches fought each other. That's how Rome fell. When Julius Caesar began to fight, what's his name? Claudius, come on. Brutus. Brutus, there's a whole ton of them. Brutus was one of the main ones in history. When he fought the Senate. When the executive branch went to war with the Senate. And the judges couldn't do anything to stop it. So then they just joined aside. Some of the judges went with the blue. Some of the judges went with the red. And they fought each other, and that is how Rome fell. And you can go look that up on your own, man. Go ahead.
Is that when all of them, it's like a famous thing where they all stabbed them?
Right.
That's when the Senate stabbed the president. Right, et tu, Brute. Because he thought Brutus was going to be on his side. Brutus was in the Senate and stabbed him in his goddamn back. They fought each other, right? And then Rome just fell. After that, the executive branch won, and Rome became an empire. It ceased to be a republic, and then now the red controlled the entire country, and that went on for till the fall, until they broke up, until those 3 branches could no longer cohesively stay together. They lost their unity, and they killed each other. And that's going to happen in America. You're already seeing it happen right now with the police. The police in America already want to be an autonomous force. That's why look at many major cities, how the police turn their back on the mayor. It happens in New York every damn week.
It happened in Chicago.
It happened in Chicago because the police don't want to listen to the mayor.
Right.
When the mayor is their goddamn boss.
Right.
The mayor hired them. They work for the mayor. But the police believe that they are free from her. I appreciate you, Warrior. And they're an autonomous force that shouldn't have to answer to the executive branch. Right. They believe they should answer to themselves. And that type of spirit happened in Rome, where the military didn't believe they should answer to the Senate. And the Senate believed that the military was out of control. And then eventually they killed each other in the streets, brother. They put a letter on the door of the Senate, Augustus Caesar did, that said whoever walks in this door is going to die. And now no one could go into the Senate. The Senate couldn't have any business. The Senate went and ran to Greece. And then Augustus Caesar just went and found all of them with Mark Antony and found every last one of them and chopped their heads off. And then put new senators in place who would let Augustus Caesar do whatever he wants. That's going to happen in America. You're going to see the police force just not give a damn about what some mayor says or what some governor says. And you're going to see the president not give a damn about what the Congress says. And they'll just, before you know it, they'll go to war with each other because they barely wanted to be together in the first place. But they came together for gain and selfishness. And when there is not enough money to go around, they will kill each other. Everyone understands. That's the three parts, the red, white, and the blue. There's an excellent book called The Three Caesars that will explain that. I'm sorry, the 12 Caesars, right? 12 Caesars with the three heads. The, Second Ezra, where's it at?
11th chapter and the 12th chapter.
The water. Second Ezra 11 and 12 will prophet where the prophet Ezra spoke about the eagle that had 3 heads and 12 feathers, right? That's the 3 branches of government with the 12 Caesars. You can read about it. That's the 3 that are going to separate at the end. And it's virtually happening right now. Come on.
And then the 3 men in Rome will be the triumvirate.
The triumphants, when they all tried to come together and tried to save Rome, but eventually Rome splintered and fell apart, and then the Dark Ages began.
That's right.
Right? Because Rome lost their unity, we gained ours.
Right.
And you're going to see the exact same thing happen here. The more America falls, so many of you are scared to death of every damn thing. Scaredy cats.
Right.
You're so scared that you don't see that the fall of America is how we will begin.
That's right.
That's what happened in Rome. When Rome began to fall apart and there was no government, the Dark Ages was at its dawn.
That's right.
And now men rose up to take the place of this fallen government. Men who believed in the law of God. Men who believed in stoning and all kinds of Old Testament things. They believed in them back then and they called it the Dark Ages. Everyone understands that's coming again, ooh-wee. You got it, Kapas?
Yes, wow.
Questions? Online? Go ahead.
Brother wants a breakdown on Daniel chapter 10, 11 to 13. Who came to Daniel in the vision?
I hope everyone knows y'all can eat whenever you want, right? Just go ahead and get down, all right? Go ahead. We're going to celebrate the day the Most High gave the UPK great vengeance, like he always does. Great vengeance. I've been telling brothers for years and years, you can F with the UPK if you want. It's like Vegas.
That's right.
It's like Vegas. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. Ooh-wee it is. Go ahead.
Add the scripture, sir?
Oh, for what? For a precept?
For the question.
Oh, what was the question?
Breakdown on Daniel's chapter 10, verses 11 through 13. He wants to know who came to him inside this vision.
Okay, go ahead and read it, please.
Daniel chapter 10, verse 11. And he said unto me,
Yeah.
O Daniel, a man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto thee, and stand upright. For unto thee am I now sent. And when he had spoken this word unto me, I stood trembling.
Okay.
Verse 12. Then said he unto me, Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand, and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I'm come for thy words.
Everyone knows this. The prophet Daniel, the first time he stepped up to be a judge in Israel and to judge righteously was with the matter concerning our sister Susanna or Shawashana in the Bible, when she was about to be killed unrightfully, accused for being a whore, when in actuality her accusers wanted to have sex with her, and she refused. And they began to lay a false judgment at her, but in the end, because of Daniel's courage and his judgment and his intelligence, those false accusers were killed. And that's the first time that Daniel stepped up on the scene, which is what the Most High is speaking about right here, right? Keep going.
Verse 13. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia.
Michael is speaking about Michael, one of the archangels, the protecting angel. He came and helped Daniel when the Persian Empire was trying to come up against him because he stood for the Most High. An angel came to him. I believe that was the question, or am I missing something? Is that it? Solid.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
I think whoever asked the question was asking who is talking to Dan right now. I thought it was Gabriel, but I can't find it in the chapter.
Who is talking to Daniel?
Yeah, who's he talking to? It's an angel, I think. So.
Oh, does he mean which angel?
Right, okay.
I can't recall. You gotta look that up. Yeah, say it one more time out.
He wanted to know who came to him and gave him that vision.
Meaning what angel came to him? Right. Okay. You can read above it to see if it gives the name of the angel. I can't recall if it does or not. If so, it'll be right above it, somewhere at the top. All right. Next, any questions in the room? Go ahead, Al.
I got a question. I was asked if it was is in Isaiah chapter 7 and 14. Was the prophecy of Emmanuel only about Christ, or was it manifold? Because there was a child in Isaiah 8 and 3.
Was the prophecy only about Christ, or was it manifold? Let me hear the prophecy, please.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 7, verse 14. Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel.
He wants to know, is this speaking about something besides Christ?
Because in chapter 8, it's saying about the woman, there was a woman that Isaiah was talking to, and he told her basically the same thing. She was going to have a son.
I got you.
Chapter 8.
Okay, go above that.
Chapter 7.
Just read whatever you're talking about. Just go read that for me, all right?
Verse 8, chapter 8.
Chapter 8, verse 3 is the other one.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 8, verse 3. And I went into the prophetess, and she conceived, and bare a son. Then said the Lord to me, call his name Maher
It's all right.
Shala
Good enough. Good enough. One of them. There's plenty of name right there for a good brother. Solid. Okay, so are you saying that is this the baby that I'm messing with your question?
Sir. So the brother was asking, was the prophecy that Isaiah was talking about in 7 saying, like, was it, okay, we know it's talking about Christ in 7, but is the one in 8 also that we have to do with that prophecy?
Meaning, was her child the one they were speaking about? No. This is not, that prophecy is about Christ, right? The prophecy that we read a minute ago. This woman also had a child, but her child was not the child of that prophecy. How do you know that? The New Testament, right? The child of that prophecy is the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. This is not the child of that prophecy, the baby that she had, because this baby, of course, is not Christ. Everyone understands that. But and you'll find many scriptures like that. Now, if you want to say, is it manifold because she had a baby? Not good enough. I'll read a little bit more of the one. Give me a little bit more of that prophecy about Christ to explain.
Isaiah chapter 7, verse
7 and it started at 14.
The book of Isaiah chapter 7, verse 15. Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good.
Now, you understand that that's a prophecy that only fits Christ, right? He's the one that butter and honey, meaning what? Who knows? Butter and honey shall he eat, so he might know how to refuse the evil and choose the good. Go ahead.
Is it a metaphor for just the good things, the right things?
It's a metaphor for learning, right? Butter and honey is speaking about the learning that he did. He learned what was right. And because he learned what was right, he is the only man to ever live to actually keep every commandment for his entire time that he ever lived. You can't say the same thing about this baby that's born. You get the point? Like, Christ knew right from wrong, and you can't say that about anyone but him. You cannot say that about the prophets. You can't say that about anyone but Christ. Keep going.
Verse 16. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings.
Keep going.
Verse 17. The Lord shall bring upon thee and upon thy people and upon thy father's house day that has not come, from the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, even the king of Assyria.
You're going to read all this down. This is speaking about the fall of the house of David and the fall of the tribe of Judah, right? And which is why a virgin had a child, because the tribe of Judah, especially David's family, were so proud and pompous and royal that they began to care more about their wealth than they did the righteousness of God. And that family fell. And then finally, someone had a child that no one would respect because she had a child out of wedlock. Do you understand? Without the father's permission, without the pomp and circumstance of an important marriage to an important family. Right? It was beneath her and beneath her family, the action of having sex with this man without the marriage ceremony. And this family would have just never accepted him because of that. But this was the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. And this was the only way that that family would ever regain any lordship. You get the point. So now if you want, what's the word you use? If you want to say it's manifold to say this baby came before Christ, you can, but you can't say that this baby fits all of this description, because the baby does not. You get the point, all right? Go ahead. Come on.
Is there
See me one more time, warrior. I'm not sure who it is. Go ahead.
Is there scriptures that describe the type of angels? I've just heard of archangels and stuff, but I don't know.
Type of angels, I can't recall that. The type of angels. It speaks about a few angels that you might hear by name, but not many of them. All right, and the ones that you hear about by name are usually referred to as the archangels because their names are written in the Bible. All right, go ahead. Next, anything in the room? Sisters, good to go? Kadazab?
Brother wants.
Sisters, y'all can eat too now. Don't be scared. It's all right. Hell, y'all made it. Hell, go ahead and eat it. No, I'm fine, warrior. The what? Go ahead.
Brother wants to break down Revelations 11:7 to 11.
Anything in particular?
It just says a breakdown.
Go ahead.
On the verses, chapter 11, verses 7 to 11.
Go ahead.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 7. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them.
This is once again speaking about the fall of our oppressor. And the beast from the bottomless pit is speaking about our oppressor that goes into the bottomless pit. I believe this is a precept about the dark ages right here, Abun. Right, Revelation 11. When they were in the bottomless pit. Read one verse above it.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 6. These have power to shut heaven, and it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them into blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will.
Keep going.
Verse 7. And when they shall have,
where are you at again up?
Revelation chapter 11, verse 7, sir.
Go ahead.
And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascended from the bottom of the bottomless pit shall make war against them.
Let me start. What verse are you in right now again?
Verse 7, sir.
Was that where his question started?
Sir.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll read it over. Book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 7. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast have ascended out of the bottomless pit, shall make war against them.
So now, to understand this, you want to go back in time to understand this, right? You want to look back at the fall of the Roman Empire. Then after that, 1,000 years after that, you had a time called the Renaissance, right? The Renaissance is prophesied in the Bible, and we're reading about it right now. The Renaissance is when the bottomless pit was opened. Our oppressor was trapped for about 1,000 years. When I say trap, meaning his authority, his ability to spread lies was curtailed. He didn't have the ability to spread lies all throughout the planet Earth the way he does now, or the way he did before the Dark Ages. And during that time, blacks and Hispanics grew. We grew in might all throughout the earth. We were not in the truth. But we grew in power all throughout the earth because finally we didn't hate ourselves for 1,000 years. And that's the great crime of white supremacy. Not only does it destroy your land and steal all of your natural resources and turn paradise into a hellhole, but it also makes you hate your skin and hate your family and hate the way you talk and hate a woman that comes from your same bloodline. It makes you hate yourself. And so for 1,000 years, you actually believed you were beautiful. You actually believed that you had value, that you weren't the ugly person and the poor person on the planet, and you weren't ashamed of who you were for 1,000 years. And after that, he was let loose, brother. That gate was open, and he got to come out and spread lies all throughout the planet Earth. Now you hate yourself. Now you hate everything about you, and you desire to be with him, look like him, be with him. Keep going.
And the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them.
And that's what happened. He came out of that pit, brother, and he made war with us and won and killed us. Keep going.
Verse 8, and their bodies, their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, even which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
That's where we are right now, brother. And our spiritual and our bodies are laying here. We're the dead that walk up and down the street every day, spiritually dead, in the great city, which is the mother of harlots, Babylon the Great, which is where we are right now. And what condition are we in? We're dead. We're absolutely dead. Blacks and Hispanics love dying so much that you won't even take a vaccine that might save your stupid life.
Right.
Like, that is how dead you are. Like, in every chance, I saw you prefer crack. I was there. Selling you a little bit of it. But I was there and saw you preferred crack. You wanted it desperately. And you wanted weed, and you wanted alcoholism. And when AIDS hit, you still wanted to be a homosexual. Like, how many times have you seen black people just prefer the thing that is going to kill them? They prefer it. Hispanics prefer the thing that is going to kill them. Now your grandmother and your mother are dead. All of your old people are dead, and you're still afraid of some goddamn needle? How could it be worse than what in the hell you're getting right now? How could it be worse than the COVID-19?
Right.
Goddamn, where's Cromwell? Who had the COVID-19 in here? Raise your hand. Did it damn near kill? Who did it damn near kill? Nobody in here. Listen, the Lord was with you. You better give you. That's the Most High is what you be kept. Jeez, I talked to some brothers called me on the phone now. Some brother called me, give him a hand. Officer Yahweh Allah, give him a hand. He was one of the first ones to get it when we didn't even know what the hell it was. He called me, he says, sir, I was in the hospital. He said everybody around him was dying. He's in the hospital. This one dies, and he noticed that everyone would die once they got on the ventilator. I mean, it was like a step, meaning if they say you're going on that ventilator, you were dead. And so he's in there in that hospital, and the doctor came in here and said, we might have to put you on a ventilator tomorrow. He said he went to the Most High and prayed this prayer. He said, Lord, if I die in this hospital, our enemies will believe that you killed me, and our enemies will believe that the UPK is not the house of God. And we will be embarrassed if I die. And he prayed that prayer to the Most High. They came in the next day and said, you're getting better. We don't need to put you on the ventilator. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shai. And Kwame too, out in California. Kwame was like the first one to get it, I think. He got that thing out when they didn't know what in the hell it was. He is just fainting and passing out every goddamn where, and no one knew what in the hell he even had. And he's calling me on the phone, brother, and he came up out of there, brother, no problem.
Right.
Don't be as stupid as your foreparents were.
Right.
Don't be so goddamn stupid all the time to choose the thing that kills you. Right. Because that is what you consistently do. You smoke cigarettes and you won't go to the doctor. Don't do that. It is dumb and ignorant.
Right.
Does everyone understand? Moving on. Keep going.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
That's this place, Sodom and Egypt. Why is it Sodom? Because of homosexuality or the gay movement. The LGBTQ community, which is on the rise and prevalent, and your children believe that they're gay because they like rainbows. Your children associate rainbows with being gay. This is Sodom and Gomorrah. What else is it? Egypt. Why Egypt? Because of the slavery, the oppression here.
Right.
Keep going.
Where also our Lord was crucified.
Where also our Lord was crucified. How was our Lord crucified in Babylon the Great? In that great city? The character assassination.
Right.
That's what happened here to our king, man. Our king, his character is assassinated every Sunday. Every Sunday they kill him afresh, and that's in the Bible.
Right.
Every Sunday they pray to Jesus and say they love Jesus and go out and commit sin. And you kill him afresh. All right? Keep going.
Okay, verse 9. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half.
So you're going to see these dead bodies 3 days and a half. How long is that? A little longer than long.
Right.
That's how long it is. A little longer than long. It's going to seem like too goddamn long. It's going to seem like it takes forever, like it did with Ezra's. It's going to seem like, man, I just can't take another day, right? I just can't take this one more day. Well, you better screw your courage to the fence, man, because Christ is coming back. And when you see these plagues happening and the war in the Middle East, your courage better get reaffirmed.
That's right.
Keep going.
And shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves.
Everybody understands that. That's once again, these are dead bodies. These are not actually dead bodies, right? These are dead bodies that are on the streets, on the street corners, that are everywhere, on the bus, driving in the car, but they're dead. Keep going.
Verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them.
Mm-hmm. Now, and the people that dwell on the earth will rejoice. Why? Because they won against us. And all of them, that's what you see our oppressor doing every day. Every Christmas and every Thanksgiving, every Sunday, every 4th of July, they thank God for the fact that they won against you.
Right.
That they are the superior race on the earth and you are beneath them. And they thank God for it all the time, especially on so-called holidays. Right. They're thanking God for that on the 4th of July. They're thanking God for that. Keep going.
And make merry, and shall send gifts one to another.
That's your Christmas, man. That's your Christmas and your so-called holidays. And they just thank the Lord for their superiority over you. Come on now.
The postcards of black people being hung and castrated and burned.
That happened. That absolutely happened in the 30s. That's correct. When they would send postcards of lynchings.
Right.
Of lynchings and send them to their family members. And that is absolutely ridiculous to even think about it, but it was not. It was commonplace. They celebrated lynchings. Keep going. Let me know when I answer this question. What verse did he want it at?
Up to 11, sir.
Where are we at now?
We at 10, sir.
Go ahead.
Because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth.
Keep
Verse
going.
11. And after 3 days and one half, the spirit of life from the power entered into them.
Ooh-wee.
And they stood upon their feet.
That time happened in 1969. Get the Most High. And that's when it got down. That's when things got good here. In 1969, brother. where 7 brothers stepped up after their leader was murdered and he was killed by Muslims. And instead of going home and having Shabbat service and putting fringes on their T-shirts and sitting with their wives and kids and praying to Yahuwah every damn Saturday and becoming docile and domesticated, those men decided to go out in the street corner and beg the same death that their leader got. That's what they did. They went out there and did it. And they threw Qurans up and down the street and wrote the word Allah on rocks and stepped on them. That's what I saw Commander General Yohana. The first time I saw him, that's what he was doing. I didn't know who he was, except he had these outstanding boots on. He had these boots on that I thought came from a spaceship. And he was on the mic blazing, and of course some Muslim was going crazy. That was back when the Muslims, were everything back then. Oh my God. They was bigger than polite. Oh, the Muslims. Oh, you couldn't say anything about Malcolm X. Malcolm X, he did that in the movie. Malcolm X. Oh, he was just great. The X hats back then, Kapaz, they had X hats. Spike Lee made the movie. Here we were in the UPK and couldn't care less about Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, Allah, Saudi Arabia, or sand.
That's right.
We didn't give a damn about any of it. And I saw Commander General Yohana, and so some Muslim was going crazy. I mean, threatening to kill everybody. And he went behind the camp and pulled a rock up, like a rock out of the street.
Right.
And he pulled it up. He said, who has a marker? Back then, brothers always had markers to highlight things, in their Bible.
Right.
Some brother had a marker. He just wrote Allah on it. He wrote Allah on the rock. He said, this is your God, nigga. And he threw it.
Yeah.
And then had some brother go get it. He was always good for that. Throwing it, have somebody go get it. Have somebody go get it. And then just took it and just stood on it.
Right.
And just did the rest of the speaking like that. And so many people would see that and wonder why. This is why. Abba Bibbins was why.
That's right.
That's why.
Right.
That's why.
Right.
Him. And we decided not to, go save our lives, but to go risk it.
Right.
And that's One West, brother, and it's still that way, ooh-wee.
That's right.
I pray you understand that. Well, that's what happened during this time where these dead bodies woke up. They began to wake up, man. Keep going.
And verse 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit from life from the power entered into them. They stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them.
And everybody knows what that is now. Everybody, if you ever walk into any job or walk into any place being from the UPK, you now know what it is to truly scare someone. Right. To truly have someone scared to death. The minute you appear, the minute you show up, they're terrified of you. And brother, it has nothing to do with you.
That's right.
You understand that? It's not about you. Everyone sees the spirit that's in you.
Right.
And this is the spirit that they were hoping would never live again. Right. And it's alive. It's alive. Keep going.
Verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them.
I think that's it, right? Questions in the room? Solid. I'm sorry, Benjamin. Please, go ahead.
Hebrews 6 and 6.
Also, someone else, give me Romans, the 13th chapter about authorities, and give me the dreamer of dreams, and I thought it was Deuteronomy 13, but it's not. The dreamer of dreams that dies. Say it again, Art. Deuteronomy 5, right? Jeremiah 23. And the dreamer that dies, and they prophesy of the deceit of their own heart. That's that in specific, the one I'm looking for, right? 23. That's for polite. We'll get into that in 1 second.
That's right.
We'll get into polite in 1 second. All right. Let me just try to get through the questions if I can. All right. Go ahead, Doc.
So Hebrews chapter 6, verse 6. If they shall fall away, to renew them again unto repentance,
seeing they crucify to themselves the Son of God afresh.
This is speaking about people that leave the truth. There are all kinds of people that leave the truth, man. Christ talked about that I believe in Matthew 13. The different reasons that people leave the truth. Hell, some of you, I'm going to throw you out of the truth. That's going to happen to some of you. It's inevitable and unavoidable. All right, it just has to happen. All right. When you leave the truth, for whatever reason you leave the truth, some of the specific reasons are in Matthew the 13th chapter. But when you leave the truth, keep going.
And put him.
No, right before that.
Seeing they crucify to themselves the Son of God afresh.
That's what you do. That's why you leave the truth. That's why you're going to be kicked out. Because you crucified Christ afresh. Right. You kill him again. Every time you go home and smoke cigarettes, you are killing Christ again. Right. Because Christ died for you to be able to come into this truth and to receive a new name and to receive a new reputation. A sister in the truth, no one treats you like a bitch or a whore. No one treats you like some slut on the street. Well, because of that, we expect you to behave right. We expect you not to smoke. We expect you not to flirt with men on Facebook. We expect you not to talk to your ex-boyfriend and to flirt with him and to have sexual contact and talks with him on Facebook. Or else we could have been treating you like a bitch and a slut this whole time. But instead, we treated you like a princess and gave you an opportunity to be brand new. But then if you go and kill Christ again, so now you're in the truth and now you're doing it again, you have to go. Everyone understands. You have to go, right? Because you're killing him again. He died once for you to be able to come into the truth. And then you come into the truth and you continue. I'm going to have great pleasure in kicking you the hell out of here. Does everyone understand? Keep going. You brothers, once again, you see what happened with Polite, right? Someone that comes into the UPK and tries to be some type of sexual deviant or a child molester, I am going to have great pleasure in kicking you out to school. I'm going to go right to the line of whatever I can do legally. Go right there. I'm going to look at the line and see how I can get my toes right on it. And that's going to happen to you. You can't be a deviant in here. You can't be some sexual deviant like Polite. You can't do that in the UPK because Commanding General Yohana polices this house, man. You have an actual leader in here. The conscious community has no leader, which is why they even exist. And that's my topic, and I'll get to that in 1 second. In here, you got to go. All right? You can't be like Polite and be in here. Everybody understands why. Because you kill Christ again. He gave you an opportunity by forgiving you for the murders you committed, by forgiving you for the lying and the stealing and the adultery and the drug addiction. And then you come into the truth and now what? Want to molest a child? Let's move on. Go ahead. Where are we at now? Please.
Seeing they crucified to themselves the Son of God afresh.
All right, that's what the scripture in Revelations is talking about. How they killed Christ in that great city, right? That's the precept, okay? Good to go. Because, of course, Christ was already dead when the book of Revelations was written, when John was in prison, all right? Good to go. Questions?
Brother wants to break down Zephaniah 2:12.
Let's do it. You got it.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 12. Ye Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by my sword.
It's pretty self-explanatory. That's, that doesn't need a prophet. That's what it's talking about. Right? You pull that for all of your Rastafarians. Do they still have Rastafarians? Not that many like they used to be. Right? Now that the government sells weed, now the Rastafarians dried up now, huh? The Rastafari, I think I'm good. I'll take it. Hit me up. I appreciate you, boy. If you don't mind. The Rastafarians, you can use that for them. They worship some cat named Haile Selassie, believe he's God, believe he's Jesus. They're just high, all right? And you can use that for them. the Rastafarians were very popular. You ever heard of what's that religious group? Oh man, I forget the name of that group. I don't even remember. But they used to be very popular back in the day. The same way Egypt is popular now with the conscious community. At one time, Ethiopia was popular and Egypt was not. Cypern is some religious group that is Ethiopia. Abyssinian, give him a hand. God dang. The Abyssinians. Scientists. These are scientists. Come on. The Coptic Church, give him a hand. That's right. Brother, they were big. Back in the day, the conscious community loved Abyssinia.
Right.
All of them talked about Abyssinia. They all wanted to go back to Ethiopia because Haile Selassie was in charge and he was so popular. He's dead now. Who gives a damn? And then the Rastafarians popped up in Jamaica, made him popular again with every drug addict who didn't wash, every unwashed, dirty-headed drug addict. Loved Ethiopia. They're not popular anymore, but you might battle a Rastafarian and you pull this scripture on them, all right? Anything else? In the room, Kataza.
I don't see anything else.
Come on.
I was holding that dreamer in Jeremiah 23.
Hang on to that, and hang on to the Matthew. Anyone had that one? That's the other one I asked for. Salakia. Romans 13 about the authority. And what's the other one I wanted? Jeremiah 23. You have the one I asked for about the is it prophecy of his own heart or something like that?
God, sir, that's in Jeremiah.
Solid. A bun?
You got Deuteronomy 13 one where it says dreamer of dreams as well?
Let me hear that.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 13 verse 1. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Verse 3, thou shalt not hearken unto the words.
This is a good one. It's not the one I want. I want the one he have given you a prophecy of thy own heart. Where is that at? Let me hear that.
23, sir.
Let me hear that one.
Jeremiah chapter 23, we start at verse 23. Am I a power at hand, saith the Lord, and not a power afar off? Can any hide himself in secret places that I shall not see him, saith the Lord? Do not I fill heaven and earth, saith the Lord? I have heard what the prophet said, that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed.
Keep going.
How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yea, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart.
What verse does that start at? The prophets of the deceit of thy own heart.
Verse 26.
Okay, keep going.
26. Verse 27. Which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his
That's
neighbor.
what you want. You want 26. Let me hear 28.
Verse 28. The prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream. And he that hath my word, let him speak my word faithfully.
Just give me 26. Also, give me where make you friends with the mammon of men. Give me that. All of these precepts are for polite. First, let's make everyone aware of what happened today. Everyone knows who polite is, correct? Polite is far more popular than I thought he was. Polite is, I didn't even know Polite was as popular as he is until now. Because I've seen videos of Polite. Shout out to Captain Dazar and Captain Katazar. Give them a hand. I saw videos of, that's how I'm familiar with Polite, from him getting destroyed by Captain Tazaryak. From him getting goddamn embarrassed. Kum Yashala. All the time. I'd never heard of him or anything until Captain Tazaryak just was embarrassing him every goddamn way he went. And destroying him all the goddamn time. So now, come to find out this cat is rich or something, has so many Rolls Royces. And so much money and has some giant following, and everybody loves him. Now, let's start with this. First, I want to hear everybody say that we were right about Polite. That's what I want. I want an apology to everyone that believed polite over us.
right.
And I want you to type it onto the screen, type it on the chat rooms, and I want you to say you were wrong about polite, and Tazaryak was right. And I want you to say that, and I want you to fill up social media with apologies. Say you're sorry. In the back. I know. He's some. Listen, who in the hell knows? I'll give you a brief history of polite with the conscious community, right? I'm going to go back to the beginning of what people call today the conscious community, and I will explain it. You can look it up online. It's very hard to understand even what the hell it is, the conscious community, right? But I'll try to lay it down nice and flat for you so you can understand. A long time ago, there was a man named Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey had a gigantic following of that day. I think he had about 3 million people, or he had a march. Does that sound right, Abun? 3 million people were following Marcus Garvey, and he had a gigantic operation. He had ships, taking people back to Africa, to Liberia, right? And Liberia was built from these people who were going back to Africa with Marcus Garvey. He had 3 million people, and it was gigantic. Of course, the FBI got wind of it, and J. Edgar Hoover at that time, he was young. And he said, we cannot allow black people to have their own Moses. So then he went, you can go look all of this up. I'm doing it briefly, but you can just Google this. He said, we cannot allow black people to have their own Moses. And so he began to find different ways to arrest and to kick out, what's his name? Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was West Indian. He was not an American citizen. Eventually, they got him on some technicality with mail fraud. Somehow, some nonsense about the flyers he had and sending the flyers away, and it was mail fraud. And they convicted him of mail fraud, and because of that, he had to get deported. And once he got deported, his organization was just full of snitches. Everyone began to snitch on Marcus Garvey and betray each other. And the whole thing fell apart. I'm almost automatically. When he was deported and went back to Jamaica, they had planned to keep it going. It fell almost immediately when he went back, and that was that. So now what do you have? You have a lot of people who were into an organization, did have a leader, but then the government came and crushed them, and now they're scattered. Now you go a little further in time. You got people called, what's the other cat name? Elijah Muhammad or Farad Muhammad. Farad Muhammad started the Nation of Islam in America, right? Which once again was a gigantic organization. Not as big as Marcus Garvey, but the people who were in Marcus Garvey's movement, who were looking for a similar movement. There are certain people in America that don't want to go to church. You understand? They don't like church. They realize it's commercial. They realize how much it caters to white people, and they're looking for an alternative to church. Those people followed Marcus Garvey. He got crushed. And they all betrayed each other and fought each other. Then now Elijah Muhammad, who was Farad Muhammad's student, stepped up. He had a student called Malcolm X. And Malcolm X got gigantic once again in the 60s. We right here in New York, where he damn near ruled this place. Right on Lenox Avenue, 115th Street, where the mosque is at right now, that Malcolm X built. I mean, he ruled this entire place, ruled Chicago, ruled almost every major cities, starting in the prisons. He went into the prisons and got all those brothers in the prisons who didn't want to go to church, who, felt church was too white for them. Well, then what happened? Then Malcolm X got in an argument with Elijah Muhammad over him having young girls. Then Malcolm X left the Nation of Islam, and the whole Nation of Islam fell apart. Once Malcolm X left because he was getting in arguments with Elijah Muhammad over stupidity and nonsense and lust. And then 1 year after he left, he got killed. He got killed by followers of Elijah Muhammad who believed that Malcolm X was wrong for speaking evil about Elijah Muhammad. They killed him. And he was dead. He got killed at the Audubon Ballroom, all right here in New York. At the end of that, the whole thing fell apart, right? So the people who did like Marcus Garvey then tried to be Muslims. They came into the Nation of Islam, then that fell apart as well. Then what happened? Now I'm taking you to the 80s. Then Louis Farrakhan stepped up in the 80s. Oh my God, they loved Louis Farrakhan.
Right.
Oh, he was coming out the walls, Louis Farrakhan. He had the 1 Million Man March where I think it was 1 million damn people down there. I mean, he had 1 million people in Washington, D.C., Stevie Wonder. Everybody loved him. It was amazing. Everybody just knew that this was the cat.
Right.
Louis Farrakhan, this is it. Louis Farrakhan then, of course, just fell off after the 1 Million Man March. He became a Scientologist.
Right.
He began to just, be just disgusting. Come on. But that's not true. Malcolm X did not get killed by the police. He got killed by Muslims. They sitting in jail right now,
Right.
and they killed him.
Right.
And they talk about killing him, and now they've left the Nation of Islam, and now they regret killing him.
Right.
He didn't get killed by police officers. He got killed by 3 black men who were in the Nation of Islam. That's just a goddamn fact you can Google. Go ahead.
I just wanted to let you know, according to Malcolm himself in his autobiography, his father was a Garveyite preacher, meaning
Right.
his father studied under Garvey out in Egypt.
I think that's my point.
Right.
My point is
Right.
that people who don't want to go to church went to Marcus Garvey. That fell.
Right.
Then they went to the Nation of Islam. That fell. Then Louis Farrakhan popped back up. And it was like Louis Farrakhan was going to rebirth the Nation of Islam. He brung back the bow ties and the bean pies, which is the only good thing to come out of the Nation of Islam. Because them Muslims would make an excellent bean pie back in the 80s. It was delicious. Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
Numbers 15:38. And buying and selling on Sabbath. I don't understand.
You got I'm making a whole point about polite right now.
Are you doing polite?
I'm doing polite as we speak. This is all about the conscious community and polite, but I will get those questions in 1 second. Earlier when I asked if anybody had questions, that's when you had to get that thing in then, all right? You got to wait 1 second now until I get done destroying polite, which is the point of what I'm saying right now. All right, so now you got Louis Farrakhan, his thing fell off. Come on.
It's like he also went to Gaddafi and got money from
How did I forget? Louis Farrakhan went to Gaddafi. I think he got 25 million or something like that. Some ridiculous number from all of the African, chieftains and warlords over there in Africa. And he got a ton of resources, a ton of money, a ton of support, and he fell off after the 1 Million Man March, and that's that. So then, into all of that, then you start to hear rumbles, especially with the internet, of the conscious community. What is the conscious community? The conscious community is a loose amalgamation of all of the fall-offs and break-offs of the Nation of Islam, the Black Panther Party with Khalid Muhammad.
Right.
Oh, Khalid Muhammad, he was a big deal.
Right.
Oh, he was going to bring back the Black Panthers. Khalid Muhammad, he's dead. He's dead and the whole thing gone. It's over. Nothing. What is the conscious community? A bunch of losers.
Right.
An amalgamation of break-off groups, losers, and people who fell and tried, and now, because their effort in organizing went terribly wrong, now the only thing they believe in is disorganization.
Right.
And that's that. None of them want to actually have a leader or have an organization. They all just do whatever they want, but loosely they're a little vegetarian, a little anti-medicine, a little anti-gods, but the Egyptian gods, they like them. So it's hard to even understand what in the hell they are. This is what they definitely are. people who are the shreds of fallen black movements. You understand? Just the debris from fallen black movements, and that is the conscious community. And that's that. And because of that, every once in a while, somebody will pop up who they think is perfect to lead them, because this leader is a leader you don't have to follow. And that's what all of them are looking for now. They have Umar Johnson, Polite, Young Pharaoh. Give me some more. I don't know. Random Ankh man, right? Whoever he is. Random vegetarian man over here, right? And those leaders are very popular because they don't require anything of their followers. And that's what they're looking for. That the conscious community doesn't want a strong man. They don't want someone that you have to obey, because all of them have tried that and it has failed for them.
Right.
So now, former Black Panthers, former Muslims, former, Garveyites, all just loosely talk to each other about some herbs and some sage and some chakras and some vegetarian, but no one is able to tell anyone what to do. And that's what they want. And that's why they loved Polite. Because Polite was the kind of leader that doesn't lead. And that's what they really want. They don't want someone that has rules that has to be obeyed. Right. They don't want a pope or a preacher or a reverend or a commanding general.
That's right.
They don't want that, because in any of those things, you would have to submit to someone else's authority. And the conscious community, they only have one thing in common, and that is their hatred of authority. Their hatred of anyone being over them in any way. So what happens? Men pop up who are, in essence, you can be a fan of this person. You understand? Like, okay, if you loved Polite, how did you express it? Watching his videos? Maybe he scammed you out of some money on his various scams. What were those scams Polite used to have to start, y'all? With the home ownership or something?
Home ownership, you was building homes out of the metal things that they put on trucks, the trailers that they put on trucks. They were building homes out of that. Fix your credit or no? I just made that up just now. I know. Okay, I just made that up just now because I just knew someone like that would be trying to fix your credit. Like someone like that. I don't know what is he, a Hamite or a supposed Hamite? I don't know what race he is, but he sure enough looks African. Right. And his behavior is like a Nigerian prince. Who if you just mail him just $500, he will retake the throne of Zamunda. Now, I don't know what race he is. He's as ugly as an African. And his scams smell of Africa. Polite is the kind of leader that you can look at, agree with, but he has no rule over whether or not you smoke weed, or you are a child molester, or you eat pork, or you eat shrimp, or what you do with your sex life, which is what the conscious community wants after years and years of being members of fallen movements. Right. They're hurt. That's the best way to understand them. They're a bunch of people that have tried this. They love, what's the cat name, the last one they love? Khalid Muhammad. Oh, they loved Khalid Muhammad. Oh, he got killed. Who killed him? His wife, the government, somebody. Right. Somehow, some conspiracy killed him. People die. I don't know if you know that. Right. They die all the time. Who else died? Dr. Sebi. He died. They love Dr. Sebi. He died at 90 years old. That was a government conspiracy to kill that 90-year-old man. 90-year-old people die. That's kind of what they do best. When somebody hit 90, you looking at him every day like, you awake? How you doing, Grandpa? You all right? Okay. You come back, wait 10 minutes later. Hey, you awake? Grandpa be like, God, leave me the hell alone. I'm all right. Because you waiting for him to die every damn day. Meanwhile, Dr. Sebi died. It's the government. He was an alkaline fortress. He was a fortress of alkaline. Well, I understand. You're the kind of person, you don't want to be commercial into church. And I get that because the Christian church is the house of lies and it's wicked. But here's the point of tonight's class. In trying to avoid the Christian church, you have fallen into a Christianity designed for you. And that's all that happened. The conscious community is Christian. Polite is just another preacher with a Rolls Royce. He's just like it's not special. The Christians molest your children. And when they molest your children, it's never true. Never is true, right? The preacher molests your daughter, you know what? No one believes that a man of God would do anything like that. The girl is lying. She's lying. Because why? He's the preacher. And we all love and respect him. So, of course, the government somehow set up polite. I get it. Somehow, the government did this. And and when your preacher molests your daughter is lying.
Right.
Because she's just fast. That's what they always used to say. Right. She's fast.
Right.
So when she tells you that she was molested, you don't believe her. Why? Because he's Deacon Reynolds. Damn. He's a man of respect. Polite is just a preacher molesting kids like every preacher molests kids. And you don't believe that he did it because you never do. Right? Because he is the kind of leader you like. You like Christian preachers because Christian preachers don't really lead. Right. And that's what you want. You want a man who you can go, yes, hallelujah. He's great. And then I go home and do whatever the hell I want to do. Because this preacher doesn't involve himself in what I do at home. Right. And that's why you like Polite. Because Polite is someone you can go, he's doing something for the community. He's black. And he minds his business about my sexual deviance, my drug addiction, my alcoholism, and how I treat my wife and how I treat my husband. And that is the kind of leader you prefer, and that's what you get. Right. Now, I just want you to say, Salakia. I want to hear the Thawadas come out of this computer, Kadazar, for everyone. Now, Polite said, don't take the vaccine, it's evil. We said to take it. Right. Who's right? That's right. You understand? Who's right? Polite said that the chakras and the auras control things and there is no God. We said that the God of Israel is the only true living God. Who's right? We are right and he was wrong. And if you want to really understand the Polite situation, I can tell you how I understand this. If you want to really understand this, and this is the most difficult part to understand. Polite was a piece of garbage before he molested that girl. Do you understand? He was always a piece of garbage. But you don't ever notice it. You don't notice it because he is sculpted for you. And you like your preachers to be like Polite. And they know what you like. Inevitably, they'll somehow flex being rich. They all do it. Because they all know you love that. They all know you love to look at someone as ignorant as you and say, he made it, so can I. You love that. You love to see somebody from your neighborhood make the NBA, don't you? Somebody from your block hit the lottery. You love preachers because preachers are just as ignorant as you are, but they made it. They're stupid like you're stupid, but they're rich. They didn't do anything to get rich. They just got rich. You know what? I'm stupid. Maybe I can be rich too. I like Polite. I like to see his riches and his stupid hats and his shoes and his alligator shoes. Right. Polite was just a preacher who gives you what you want. What you want is hope that you can be rich one day. And preachers give you that. Preachers give you hope for getting out the ghetto while you can stay stupid as you are right now. Make you friends with the mammon first, all right? Then I'll get to the young brother's question in a second. I'm missing something online. Here's what you just have to understand.
I have friends with the
Give me that in 1 second, all right? What you have to understand is that you're always wrong and we're always right.
Right.
And that is the treasure in life. You were fooled by Polite. You thought he was amazing. You thought he could help you with your credit, didn't you? You thought he was going to make your credit, 720, wonderful credit, erase all of them evictions. Nothing is erasing your evictions. Now, leave the truth. You got evictions, you in hell. That's it. You're going to need a brother to help you out or some sister to help you get a place. Shalom. That's life. That's how it works. That terrible credit you got, nobody is forgetting. No one. Ain't nobody, they're going to look at you. It's going to be 100 years from now. They're going to say, I see you had this car repoed in 47 years ago. You trying to buy a spaceship. We can't, Some damn fool called me from the gun permit place, told me about some nonsense I did at 13. Damn. And guess what? It was expunged. Right. That's what they said, Kadazar. They said this was expunged off of my record because I didn't get convicted. Lo and behold, I'm on the phone with this white man that's bringing up something I did 13 years ago that's none of their goddamn business. When I was 13 years old, Salakia. 13. It was expunged. I was a juvenile. Yet I had to talk about it on the phone. Right. Right? Because nothing is expunged. That's another lie. Right. This expungement myth. Right. Whatever you get expunged is not expunged. Right. It's still there, sitting right there to come up when they want to bring it up in the back. And they charge you for it. And they charge you to get your shit expunged. Expungement is a myth. It doesn't exist. Expungement. Come on.
So, I don't know if this is different, but the juvenile's record being sealed after 18.
Yeah, I was a juvenile. I was 13. Right, it was sealed. It was not a conviction. Yet, when I went to go handle my business, here they go. They went and opened up the records on me, blew the dust off of them, and said, what about this? Now, once again, your reverend of choice won't say that to you because he wants to sell you this magic. All of them got magic that they can give you to erase all of your past and all of your criminal record and all of your bad credit. And that's what you like, and that's what they're selling because you are a goddamn idiot. That's what you are. But here's the good news. Not everyone is. And you better follow authority. Don't run from it. Don't church shop. You understand? Don't church shop. You know what church shopping is? Is when you just go around looking for some place that accepts you and how you are. Okay, so I want to leave my husband. Oh, this church lets you leave your husband. Good. I like that one. I don't want my husband to have more than one wife. UPK, no, not scroll left on that one. IUIC. You know how many sisters call me and they say, well, listen, I was looking at the Israelite groups. I know where y'all stand on more than one wife. Forget that. I went to the IUIC because they're Israelites, but they believe in having one wife. And I say, well, sis, what in the hell are you doing here now? Well, my husband believed he could only have one wife. Damn. So he left me to get with that prettier, younger girl. Right. So that could be his one wife. Don't be so stupid. Yeah, they believe in that. Don't shop for someone that accepts how you are. You smoke weed, so you need someone that lets you smoke weed. And you just shop around like you would a car or something that suits you when that is not the path to follow God. God doesn't suit you. You change to suit him. Right. And as long as you just constantly look for someone who fits into your stupid life, you're going to run into Polites and Reverends and preachers and Creflos and T.D. Jakeses and what's the purple one with the Eddie Long. You're going to run into Eddie Long's because Eddie Long is sculpted for you. You like music? We got the best band. Right. You like flowers? You like women to be catered to? We cater to women. What do you like? Whatever you like, Eddie Long becomes it for you. Creflo becomes, it's like buying any other commodity. He just becomes what you like. And that's what Polite did. And you followed him and did not follow us. And now I want you to say we're right. We were right and you were wrong.
Right.
Brother, tell y'all why y'all was shy. Give me that precept I asked for.
Luke chapter 16.
Wait, pause 1 second. Let me get the young brother's question before we go into that. What was your question again in the back up?
It was Numbers 15:38, fringes, and the next one was lying on the Sabbath.
Solid. Go ahead and read it. Whenever you're ready, read the precept that you want me to break down for you, all right? He said Numbers what?
Numbers 15:38.
Okay. So I'm going to get it for the brother for time's sake, all right? That's all right. I'm going to tell you the truth about the whole thing in about 2 seconds. Somebody read it for the young brother, all right? Numbers what again? Numbers 15 and 38. You got it up.
Numbers chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
Got you. So now, fake Israelite groups and Jewish groups, which are the same thing, right? They all believe that that means you have to put fringes on all of your clothing. Is that your point? You've heard that before, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Do they put fringes on their drawers? Say again? Why not? Why? It doesn't, right? How about their socks? How about a wave cap you wear at night? How about a sister that wears one of them mushroom hat bonnets? How about, where you from, Al?
I'm from Ohio.
You from, they got farmers out there?
Plenty farmers.
How about a farmer out in the field? Does he have to wear fringes in his overalls? Why not? Because it makes no sense. Give him a hand. All right, you see that? All right, a garment, it does not mean everything you wear, or else you would have to put it on your socks, right, your drawers, right, and your overalls that you dig holes in ditches with. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Okay, that it doesn't. A garment is a priestly garment. It's an attire. It's like there you go. Come over and show him. Come on, give him a hand. This is a garment, right? This is a garment. A garment, please, the camera, Salakia. A garment does not mean everything you wear, which is how Jewish people break it down, and that's where fake Israelite groups get it from. A garment is a specific thing. Do you understand? It's the most formal of our attire. It's formal. On those formal garments or those formal pieces of clothing, they have to have fringes in the border. What's the border? The border is where the back and the front come together, or the stitch comes together. That line, imagine a map in the border of North Carolina and South Carolina, right? It's a line that unifies the two. That line is where the fringe goes, right? Down the leg of your pants, usually right here. That's the border. The stitch line is the border, all right? And it is a law to wear it on your garment, which is your most formal thing that you wear. It has to have it on it. Not your drawers, not your socks, not your... do you ever play basketball, brother? Yeah. Do you wear fringes on your basketball shorts? Why don't you do that? Huh? Say again? I can't hear you. Why not? Because it doesn't make sense. That's it. See that? Now polite would tell you to fringe your eyelids. And to fringe your drawers and to fringe. You sisters would be fringing them thongs. You'd have a fringe. That don't sound too bad, Captain. Hold up, Kapa. I think I'm on to something. Get out of hand. Hold up, Kapa. Wait a minute. Hold up, Kapa. I see Kapa. I saw the eyebrow go up. Kapa's the eyebrow went up here. That's your personal business. The point is, it's not a law. That's all I'm trying to say. You can put fringes on whatever you want. All right? But it's a law to go on your garment. And we wear garments mostly in the UPK at camp or at the Passover or in the high holy days, the Sabbath or different high holy days. We wear a garment. And these are the rules for a garment.
Right.
Do you understand? What's the other question now?
The other question is, 9 and 7 I was reading about servile work.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand.
Who does servile work?
Well, we all do servile work.
Who does servile work? Just think. Okay, just use the right word. Okay. Who does servile work? It's right in front of you. Give him a hand. Right. Servile work is the work that a servant does. The law of the Sabbath forbids your boss from making you work.
Right.
It does not forbid you from doing whatever the hell you feel like doing, because anything you feel like doing is not, come on, servant work. Servant work is not, if I feel like doing it, then it's not servant work.
Right.
When I'm forced to do it by my boss, then it's servant work. If I go to McDonald's and they say, you better be in here this Saturday, you got no choice, I'm firing you. When I make a hamburger, that's servant work.
That's right.
If I'm home on a Saturday and feel like a nice hamburger, and I go in there and make a burger, that is not servant work. Do you understand? Because it's what I want to do. So many people read, and once again, where did this understanding come from? That's what you need to do first. This is from Jewish people. Jewish people, some of the sisters over here know about this. If you ever work with someone that's Jewish, and in New York, it's tons of you to have to do this.
Right.
Where you work for a Jewish couple or a Jewish woman, and on Saturday, she will not flick the light switch. She will not do that. She won't push the elevator button.
Right.
She won't do any of that. What happens? You know what she does? She waits for her West Indian servant to push the button, to flick the light switch, to cook all her meals. They won't do anything on the Sabbath. They make their servants do it. That's breaking the law.
That's right.
Do you understand? Servile work is what you are forced to do. This law is not about what you do. This law is about bosses.
Right.
That's what this law is for. Bosses are who this law is for. Not for you. You're the servant. This law is not for you. This law is for your boss. Guess what this law has became? Sunday. Sunday is where they get this from. What's the law on Sunday? You don't have to work. You can go play football. You can watch the football game, the basketball game, play with your kids. You can do whatever you want in America on Sunday because America considers Sunday the Sabbath.
That's right.
That's the law. The law is you're free from your boss's oppression. Because if not for this law, your boss would make you work 7 days a week.
Right.
He would give you no day off. This law is for bosses, not for slaves. This law is not so you can starve to death on the Sabbath, which is what it becomes with Jewish people.
Right.
And it's so sad because if you're black and you're trying to keep the commandments, you don't have a West Indian slave to cook your food.
Right.
So the Jewish man on the Sabbath, he just makes his Dominican slave do this. His Benjamite West Indian slave, she cooks. She turns the light on and off. She babysits the child and changes the diapers. What do you do on the Sabbath? Just sit there in the goddamn dark room? I gotta move on. Okay. This is the school of universal practical knowledge. Does everyone understand that? Right? I don't have no magic. I ain't got no magic. I don't have any chakras. Polite, he had all the chakras. Polite knew all of the pressure points and the chakra points. And the spiritual realms and all of that Nufatudi and Nefertiti and all of them Egyptian gods. And once again, just to go back into Polite and the conscious community, that's why they love it. They're African without the genital mutilation. Right? They're Muslim without cutting their clitorises off and without wearing the hijab. They follow Egypt without eating the hippo. They're African without lip plates and nose plates and mutilating their skin. They get to be everything and be nothing. Because if they're actually Muslim, they'd have to cut their clitorises off. Am I telling you something you don't know anything about? Raise your hand if you don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, it's in there. It's in there. Come on.
So like, I thought that was a Hamite thing. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's my point. It's the Hamite Muslims.
Okay, time.
Boko Haram. And the Hamite Muslims, they believe that women should not have clitorises because it causes them to be impure and to have sexual desire. So and there's some Ethiopian girl that's going all over the news trying to say, nigga, don't be a Muslim because I don't have a clitoris. And she's all on the damn TV talking about it because they're real Muslims. Right. You understand? They have a leader that says that clitoris has to go. And then they're African with no tribal marks, with no plates in their lips, with no cow dung, with none of the African culture because they're not really African. They're not really Muslim. They're nothing. Right. They're nothing at all, which is what they want because their hearts have been broken by the Muslims, by Marcus Garvey, by Malcolm X, and by Khalid Muhammad. Right. So now they just don't want to be anything at all. And that, brother, is a crime and a shame. Don't run from authority. And the UPK, we're going to put authority on your neck. That's right. Heavy on your neck. And sometimes it's going to feel like, goddamn, I can't do anything. Right. That Facebook account, you just can't believe all the scrutiny we give that thing, do you? Right. I hear you. I can tell you're shocked, especially you women. You can't believe that we are looking at your Facebook account, watching you and watching everything you do, and looking at what you do, and you brothers the same thing. There's nothing you can do in here that's not our business. Right. Your whole life is our business. Right. Whatever you do at home, in your personal life, in your bed, it is our business. Why? Because in here you actually have a leader. That's right. You actually have someone that gives account for your soul. Right. Sing it one more time, please. All right, what do you have? What you holding here for me?
Video request.
Please, you can play it. Let me know when to get down to Zariaka, right? Time. Go ahead.
When the shit starts going down negative. That's wild. So I'm like, wow, okay, nationwide. So in every step of my life, the evolution is real, you know, but like I said, again, so I can reference this video and I could direct people to it. Yo, fam, it's not in my best interest to be speaking about anything.
I forgot one more broken movement. Dr. York. Dr. York was another. It was so big. Dr. York had some old land in Atlanta where he had a sphinx or a pyramid. That's right. And brother, I remember I was in the truth and we were battling these Dr. York people and everyone was traveling to Atlanta like it was Mecca. They were all going there to see what Dr. York had built. He had that section down there in Brooklyn. He had just some old blocks in Brooklyn that he went abandoned homes that he went and refurbished and was policing. And with all of that money that he was taking from them brothers, he went and built some paradise in Atlanta with full size. When I say full size, I mean, a pyramid, about, a couple of stories. A pyramid of sphinx, all kinds of green lizard people. And brother, Wesley Snipes went there and was one of them. Tons of people was over there. Everybody was going to see Dr. York. What happened to Dr. York? He molested your children. He's in jail for child molestation, just like your preacher. The point you got to understand is polite is just Christian.
Right.
It's just the usual Christian thing. Dr. York is in jail right now for molesting everybody's kids. What's another one down there in Florida? Where's Florida at? Yahweh ben Yahweh. Oh, they gave Yahweh ben Yahweh the key to the city in Miami. The key, meaning, you can go look it up on your Google. The mayor is like, here's Yahweh ben Yahweh, the key to the city, because he went and just transformed this section of the city. He started cutting off everybody's head, and I am not exaggerating. And they put him in what's that ice? Dry ice, and would bring him the heads of people, and he got caught from cutting off all these goddamn heads. Where they at now? Come on.
Jail.
In jail.
I was gonna say everybody that called me in Florida, in jail.
In jail.
Yahweh ben Yahweh group.
In jail. So now all of those groups now, the people that believed in them, they're in the conscious community now. All of them. They're all there, and they don't want any rulership anymore. They just want to smoke their weed, watch their videos, get scammed now and again. And that's that. Come on.
Salakia, there's one, he's kind of small, but the Zulus as well. I'm going to bottom.
That's a smaller one. He was a terrible homosexual. He was a child molester. He was small. But he's not big enough to go into the groups I'm talking about. But if you like a child molester, you definitely could get touched up in there as well. All right? Let's go ahead and play this.
In particular, because that's just not the way this thing works. You let people do what they do. You do what you do. You let the professionals do what they do. Mm-hmm. And you let time tell. That's what we gotta do. You let time tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you want a person to say. You let time tell. No, and when time tells, all the people talking crazy, guess what happens? They just go back in their world. No one's gonna hold them accountable. Some people we gonna hold accountable, goddammit. Because shit that people saying, I'm like, damn, I'm about to start tuning into their shit to find out about the situation. Because apparently they know more than I freaking know. You gotta understand perspective. You know what I'm saying? That we live in a world that if someone heard that something bad happened to somebody, depending on who they said did the wrong, people might even celebrate the wrong that they think may have happened just because they hate that person.
Pause.
So when you,
Akim, let me give you a little amateur legal advice. Don't do this if you get arrested. This is a terrible mistake. Okay? Do not go making a video where you sound absolutely guilty. I mean, this video sounds terribly incriminating, and they're going to play this during the trial. This video. And because you don't have to testify in a criminal case, he's not even going to be able to rebut it. They could just play it during the opening argument, the closing argument, and they'll just stop it like I'm stopping it. And they'll see that on this entire tape, he never says he didn't do it. Never. And that is another thing with these type of lunatics that you love to follow. You love to follow some malignant, narcissistic psychopath. Somebody, this is the same reason your preachers molest kids. Let me try to explain to you their mind, right? There's a mind of a preacher that almost is like, he is so close to God that the rules of man don't apply to him. You understand? It's like, people aren't allowed to have sex with 14-year-old girls. But I am God.
That's right.
And really, the only type of girl I should be with is someone pure.
That's right.
And she must be young because I am God, and I should be with the purest of girls. And although men say you can't do it, I am God, and I am able to do it. And that is why your preacher molests your children. He doesn't feel bound to the rules of society. He's outside of that. He's God himself, so you can't be with a child. But who should he be with? The purest of all women. The younger, the purer, the less, tainted by society.
Right.
And that is how he thinks. But let me give you what the truth really is. They love children because children can't say no.
Right.
And that is that. That's the attraction to children. A child will never say, your breath stinks, you stinking African. A child will never say that. A child will never say, you smell like onions. You smell like somebody made an onion sandwich. You stinking, sweaty African. A child never disagrees. A child always says yes, and their ego needs that. Their ego can't be with a woman because a woman might say no. A woman might turn you down. To even approach a woman, you need a certain confidence because she might reject you. And so you need confidence. With a child, you don't need that confidence.
Right.
A child will treat you like a god. A child will treat you like you're just God. You show them candy and they'll get in your car. And there are men that need to be with children because they cannot take the rejection of a woman.
Right.
And they will always gravitate to what is easy. And children will get in your car with candy. But in their mind, that's not why they do it. In their mind, they're God. And they need to be with this. She just had her period. So she's brand new, clean. I'm God. So I can be with this purest of all women. Elijah Muhammad did it. They all do it. And your preacher is doing it because polite is just another preacher.
That's right.
Keep going.
You people want to be popular or you achieve success. Remember, when you pray for rain, you may get mud. Remember that. When you pray for rain, you might get mud. Real talk. And what I mean by that is, there's the pros and the cons to success. Sometimes you could be so popular that, like, look, when you're popular and you do nothing but good and you contribute all sorts of positivity, change people's lives, add value to them, make them money, guess what? Nobody reaches out to you and say, can I get an interview? But if someone hears something egregious about you, suddenly everyone knows how to contact you to get a story.
Stop. I mean, boy, just so you know, okay, he doesn't deny it in this entire video.
Right.
Once again, he talks about himself in such a grandiose way. And not just talk about the child molestation, just the basic disgusting thing that he's being accused with. You followed him, and I want your apology.
Right.
And I want you to apologize, and I want you to say we're right. And let me tell you something else. This is not somebody that can go to prison. I saw him when Captain Desaryak challenged him. I saw that. Woo-wee. Listen, he gonna cross the line, all right. Yikes. He cannot take the kind of brother that's in jail out.
Right.
He cannot handle that. He cannot do that. That's not a place for him, and he probably will commit suicide. And whoever loves him should watch him for suicide, because even this video sounds fatalistic.
That's right.
It sounds like someone like, y'all don't appreciate me. Y'all don't love me and y'all don't help me.
Right.
And that's, sounds like somebody that's not going to go into jail,
Right.
because then by killing themselves, then all of you can be at fault because you didn't follow me and you didn't support me enough. And if you love this filthy piece of garbage, you better watch him and call him and be there for him if you love him.
Right.
That's up to you, and that's none of my goddamn business. But this much I can tell you, he is not equipped for prison.
Right.
He is not ready for it. There ain't no red hats in prison. None of them. And he's getting exactly what in the hell he deserved. This is a bastard that dared to come up against the UPK and tried to insult Captain Kataza. You think we forgot about that? We did not. This filthy piece of garbage dared to insult Captain Kataza, an anointed priest, and he thought he would get away with it. None of you will get away with it. None of you. He's getting exactly what he deserved when he dared to say one evil word about Captain Kataza. His fate was sealed, and this was going to happen. Now, you say Salakia, you say sorry, you apologize, and from here on, you say that we're right about everything and you're wrong. Give me one last precept, and I got to get out of here. Stand by for Cross the Line. Is coming on, I believe, immediately after this class, all right? Let me get one. Give me the dream of their vain heart. Give me that precept. I think this one might be too long, Kataza, the one I was about to pull. What's the one the brother brought up over here? They give you the. That's correct. The what?
Jeremiah chapter 23. Start at verse, you said 26, what you wanted?
Yes. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 26. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies?
The prophets that do what?
That prophesy lies.
And that's all Polite was. I can't even, he's one that I didn't even understand his popularity. I never got it. I don't understand it. I guess it's from people trying to be entrepreneurs or something like that. Right. He might have some allure in that world. You might have thought you were going to get into real estate or something. You were dumb if you thought that. Because Polite, he was not a real estate mogul. He was a liar who got people to give him money. Right. He was not going to help you with real estate. He is just another Nigerian prince hustling you out of your money.
Right. He said he wrote 700 books and speaks 50 languages.
Oh, well, gone.
Damn. I said that.
He's just a liar. He's a stinking liar. Right. But you love liars because liars don't ask whether or not you smoke weed. Right. They don't ask that question. Right? Liars don't ask whether or not you are seeing transsexuals or whether or not you're talking to your ex-boyfriend on Facebook or whether or not you're talking to your ex-girlfriend who is sleeping with someone else. She's sleeping with someone. If your ex is sleeping with someone, then that's his woman. Polite will never ask you that question because all he cares about is will you sign up for his credit redemption program? Will you sign up for his real estate seminar that he has in the Holiday Inn ballroom? He doesn't care that you're sleeping with another man's woman. Please believe Commander General Yohana does. That's right. He cares about who you stick your penis in. That's right. He cares about it. I'm going to North Carolina soon, I think next week. I'm specifically going to North Carolina to seek out sin. Commander General Yohana is sending me down there to seek out sin and to find ways to kick people out of the school down there. If you're from North Carolina, here I come. And Commander General Yohana is sending me there because he can smell sin in North Carolina. He can smell it. He can smell adulterers and sinners and child molesters. And I am going to go and find you. I'm going to go down there and dig into your life and find you. I've already kicked a few of you out of the truth in North Carolina. And I'm going down there to see if I can kick some more people out of the truth down there and make this house clean. And please believe, I will be traveling everywhere I smell it, everywhere Commander General Yohana sends me. This is not a place that a child molester can hide. You can't hide in here. This is not your grandmama's church. This is not a place that a sexual deviant. A lot of you brothers think you can go on Facebook and have sex with all of these whores. Your wife just calls me and tells me about it all the time. And you don't know that she just calls me. She calls me and tells me about what she finds in your phone, with the websites, and with the other brothers' wives. And soon, General Yohana is going to send me to your town, and I am going to kick you out of the school, and you're going to look at me in the face and you're going to think that I loved you. And I'm not going to care about you at all. It's going to mean nothing to me at all to kick you out of the school. I won't lose any sleep over it all, and I won't remember you once you're gone. And I pray you understand that this is not the place that a hypocrite can hide. If you wanted that, you can join this man right here. You can join all of the shreds of the conscious community. No child molesters, no deviants, no sluts, no whores, no liars. Does everyone understand? We'll see. We'll see. Anything else?
I was in verse 26.
Let me finish up here about you. Go ahead.
The top of verse 26. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies?
How long shall this be in their heart? And that's what Polite was giving you. He was giving you his dream and whatever you want and whatever you think. He just catered to you. Whatever fears you had, he was afraid of it too. Whatever you liked, he liked it too. Whatever you wanted, he wanted it too. And that's why he hustles so many women with them stupid ass herbs.
Right.
Herbs. You stupid bitches, you love sage as if sage is magic. If sage is magic, then why didn't I get healed from eating all that stuffing? Didn't do me any goddamn good. I don't know if you know, but sage is the main ingredient in breakfast sausage.
Right.
And stove top stuffing. It's the main ingredient in it. If you wanted sage, the smell of sage through your house, make some stuffing. Or make turkey breakfast sausage. That is sage. It didn't help any then. Your mother was still getting beat while she was cooking up stuffing for Thanksgiving. You think burning sage is going to help you? If you ask Polite, what would Polite say about sage? Oh, yes, sister. You must burn the sage. And the, what's those things? The rubies and the jewel, the rocks and crystals, thank you. The goddamn crystals. The crystals, everything will work except stop smoking weed.
Right.
Except doing the thing that requires discipline.
Right.
And guess what? Polite sells crystals. Lo and behold, the magic crystal, you can go to his website and you can get the magic crystal. Ain't that's a big coincidence. That they sell all of the magic that you women like. They sell the sage, they sell the crystals, they sell the just like the preachers have the miracle water and the miracle piece of cloth.
Right.
You're an idiot. And I'm trying to help you by telling you that. Let me make all your decisions because you're an effing idiot. And you are fooled by anyone who tells you what you want to hear because that's the essence of being a dumb woman. You believe everything you hear. Whatever you, brothers, you love everything you see. You believe everything you hear. You need General Yohana. That's just it. Because without that, you think whatever you see is right. You think whatever you hear is right. Both of you are dummies. And you need General Yohana to make your decisions for you. Or else you would have followed that thing. That's what that would have been who you followed. Just like you followed T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar and Eddie Long and Dr. York and Louis Farrakhan. I gotta wrap this up, man. Finish me up here. Abadja, come on.
So I just had a quick question also.
Go ahead.
What's called, the singer Lizzo has been getting a lot of flack because she's...
Who?
The singer Lizzo has been getting a lot of flack because she's overweight, and you got a lot of celebrities coming to her aid. I wanted to know what's the school stance on like obesity and what's called as far as now she gets a lot of flack I think because she's also a whore who does outlandish things while being overweight.
All right, I'll help you with. Let me. This is a good question. I got you. This is a good question, and I'm going to help you with this question. All right, and this is important to understand things in life, right? Commander General Yohana doesn't know who Lizzo is. Because this means nothing. And it's important as you grow to know what means absolutely nothing. It just doesn't matter how heavy this girl is. It's irrelevant. What you want to do is don't die. Get healthy so that you don't die. That's it. You go to a doctor and he'll say, listen, nigga, you about to die. They're quick to tell you that. They say, and that's why people hate the doctor, because it is some truth in there, brother.
Right.
It is some straight up honesty in that room. You go into that room, it's all cold and ooh, you sitting there in that paper. You listen, you feel exposed. It's like you in there like, damn, this is, he got me in there. And even when they make you wait, it's like they tell you, put this paper robe on and just sit there. And you in there like, God damn, what is he gonna do to me? And he gonna come in there and sit behind that computer and be like, oh, this shit here. I'm surprised you made it in here today. Yeah, you got your numbers. You are naked in the doctor's office. You're exposed in there. And you need that kind of honesty. It's important. And most of you avoid the doctor because it's too honest. You love to be lied to.
Right.
You understand? You love lies. In that doctor's office, brother, there are no lies out. This is you. He pulls that thing up, you're going to get on that goddamn scale. Let's see what you're dealing with. Give me some of that blood. Let's see what's in that blood. This is what's in it. Now, you can ignore it, but it is in there. This is what your numbers say, and your numbers are true. Now, if you love lies, you can skip the doctor and get yourself a crystal and burn some sage.
Right.
What I would recommend you to do is this. Take as much honesty as you can.
Right.
That's important, because with honesty, then you can choose. You can decide. But the doctor will sit you down there in that paper and go, oh, yeah, this is where you're at. This is your cholesterol right here. I know what you thought it was. I don't know how many crystals you have, but it ain't working on this cholesterol. Right here. Here's your cholesterol. Here's your gout. You got gout? Here it is right here. Here's your high blood pressure. This is it. This is your blood pressure, Op. He put that thing on your goddamn arm. That's it. That ain't a fairy tale or chakras. That is your blood pressure on that damn thing. And you looking at it like, God damn, is you gonna stop? You look at the number raising like, come on, man, stop, please. Shit. That's what it is, huh? Go in there and deal with that thing. Accept it. Now, then you're gonna choose. But you've been told the truth in the doctor's office. Do you understand? And the UPK, we believe in telling the truth. I pray you understand that. Come on, wrap it up here.
In the middle of verse 26, sir. Yea, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart.
That's polite. Polite gave you the lies in his heart, but none of it had to do with. Did Polite worship a God? I'm not in the. How'd I forget? Polite said the black woman is God. Let me wrap it up so y'all can get into it. All right? The point is, Polite is a preacher. He's no different than any other preacher. If you thought you were avoiding the church by becoming a member of the conscious community, you ran right into church. With that, pass the class over to Gadite in the back. Mr. Water.
Lord, for a courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Majum. Imam Shabbat.
You too, sisters.
Imam Barak.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shem